Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live from America. I am your host, Jeremy Herrell, the Hip Hop Patriot. It's so wonderful to see you all today. I'm going to make sure that I click over and watch myself so that I can make sure that I get all of your comments without them scrolling at 1,000 miles per hour. But I appreciate you joining in today. Today is, let's see, February 11th already. Year of our Lord 2021. I'd like to give some special shout outs here to Suzanne Krogman. I hope I said that right. Brian Hoover from Pennsylvania. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate it. Allison Gelderman. I think it's Gelderman. How you doing, Allison? Thank you. We have Sunshine from, I don't know where that's from. Again, moving way too fast. Let's see if I can do something about that. Yes, I can. Lisa Thomas from Indiana. How you doing? Shaylin Evans from Iowa. Hello. Thank you for joining in the show tonight. Sherry Johnson from, let's see, Manheim, Pennsylvania. We have a lot of Pennsylvania viewers in the house every single day. So thank you guys for joining in. I appreciate that. Who else we got? We have Carla Murphy from Missouri, and Renaissance Cottons is the name of that YouTube handle from North Carolina. We have Marilyn Coe from the swamp of Georgia. Although Georgia is a great state, don't get me wrong, because Georgia, it's just got a lot of swamp problems right now. So I didn't mean to insult your state. We're insulting the swamp that lives in your state. Of course, we got swamp right here in New Hampshire too, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Rosario Barbara, thank you for joining in. I appreciate it. George Chambliss, again from Georgia, thank you very much. I appreciate you joining in. We have Maine in the house. Carol McDole from Texas. And I'd also like to give a very special shout out. Let me make sure that I get this name right. I'd like to give a very special shout out to Carrie McGillicuddy. Carrie McGillicuddy sent me an email, and she's actually going in for surgery for breast cancer on February 18th. And she asked me to ask all of you to pray for her as she goes through this very scary time. But we know that she's got the armor of God surrounding her. We know that she has got all of our prayers, and that she has got Jesus with her in her heart. And we just want to pray for you, Carrie. We want to let you know that everything is going to be a-okay, and as long as you got God in your corner, nothing can go wrong. So please make sure we pray for Carrie McGillicuddy and everything that she's going through with her family as well. Danielle O'Neill is here. She says prayers for your friend. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, guys. We got a heck of a show for you today. And for everybody who is new to the show, my name is Jeremy Herrell. You might have heard of the Hip Hop Patriot. You might have heard a song called Build the Wall. You might have heard a song called Rebirth of America. Those are my songs, and that's why they call me the Hip Hop Patriot. So if you're new to the channel, what we do every day before we start doing anything when it comes to the news or anything else is we give our love and our honor, our attention to God Almighty and our Savior Jesus Christ. And we do that twice a day, Monday through Friday. And so what we do is we, in the 5 o'clock hour, we read from Jesus Calling on the specific date that it is, and then we go to the Bible and read where that is referencing. So today, February 11th, year of our Lord, 2021. Before we get that, Gene Breeden says, shout me out. Well, there you go, Gene Breeden. I shouted you out. February 11th says, my peace is like a shaft of golden light shining on you continuously. During days of bright sunshine, it may blend in with your surroundings. On darker days, my peace stands out in sharp contrast to your circumstances. See times of darkness as opportunities for my light to shine in transcendent splendor. I am training you to practice peace that overpowers darkness. Collaborate with me in this training. Do not grow weary or lose heart. And that is referencing John 1, 4 through 5 and Hebrews 12, 3. So I got the good book open to Hebrews 12, 3, and we'll read that right now. Hebrews 12, 3 says, for consider him who endured such hostility from sinners, against himself, lest you become weary and your hearts give up. So, ladies and gentlemen, really what that is saying is through the hard times, those are training. We're in training right now. We are in a massive state of training right now, and we need to be that light in the darkness. Okay? There's a lot of darkness going on right now. I want to just turn this camera a little bit. There we go. There's a lot of darkness going on right now in the world. And I'm not just talking about with the stolen election. No, 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 no. I'm talking about with abortion. Babies being killed left and right by the thousands that don't have their body, their choice. We're talking about genocide everywhere. We're talking about freedom of speech being taken at an astronomical rate. Every single day, somebody else is being censored or being oppressed from being able to say what they feel or express what they feel. Okay, we got people, pedophiles. We have such a problem with pedophilia in this country. I would say we have such a problem with it. It's probably more of a problem than the drug epidemic that we deal with. Okay, we have the unleashed, and that's what I say, in my opinion, the unleashed on purpose. That's my opinion again. Coronavirus that has destroyed lives, that is destroying the youth of our children, especially the real young kids, 15 and under, 10 and under, who a year to them is like a decade. They don't know how to deal with this kind of stuff. They now think that wearing a mask is the way things are supposed to be, and it's not. We have so much darkness in the world, ladies and gentlemen. MH said COVID took my dad. I'm very, very sorry to hear about that. I'm very, very, very sorry to hear about that. That really does, that's very sad. So we have all of this stuff going on. We have all of this darkness, ladies and gentlemen, going on, and we need to be that light in the darkness. And that is what Christians are. We are light in the darkness. And there's many ways we can do that, guys. There's many ways we can do that. We can help somebody financially. We can help somebody physically. We can help somebody just by being there. We can have people over for dinner. We have a lot of people in our church, ladies and gentlemen, who are widows. So for Valentine's Day in our church, we have a little program where we invite those people over for dinner or take them out for dinner. There's a lot of little things we can do. God doesn't look for the big things that you do. God looks at each individual tiny little things that you do every single day. And those are the things that make him happy. So you don't have to sit there and wait for some big opportunity to come along to make God happy or to do something right in this world. It can be the smallest little thing, as opening the door for somebody at the grocery store or at the bank and saying, God bless you. I say God bless you to so many people when I go out, and even if I go through the drive-through at Dunkin' Donuts to get a coffee or something, I say God bless you. And you'd be surprised. You would be surprised how many people are surprised that you said that. And not only surprised that you said it, is where they say it back. They say it back. John A says, give me a shout out. Well, there's your shout out, John A. So I really want to touch on that before we get to the news, ladies and gentlemen, because it's so important. It's so important that we talk about that kind of stuff. All right. So before we get there, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to let you know that you can go to jeremyherrell.com. Please go there and scroll down to the bottom of the first page. There's a whole bunch of pages on there. There's videos and images. There's music. There's places to become a monthly donor. But scroll down to the bottom of the first page and sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter is very powerful and it's very important. And I do send out, I just started 2 days ago, sending out morning verses, morning devotional that I actually do when I do my Bible study in the morning. I send that right out to you guys. And if you haven't received it, make sure you check out your spam folder. A lot of people are finding it in their spam folder, okay? And before we really get to anything, please like the page, subscribe to the page, click the notification bell, copy the link, and share it to your other social media outlets. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. February 11th, 2021, right here on Live from America. I wanted to, before we get to the news, talk about Jen Psaki real quick. I think do you say her name Jen Psaki or Jen Psaki? Either way, she is so subpar when it comes to Kayleigh McEnany. She is so underprepared. She is so unintelligent when it comes to understanding how to public speak, how to answer questions on the fly, have the right answers for the questions. She's the circle back girl. Ain't no circle back girl. That Kaylee McEnany ain't no circle back girl. She gave it to you right then and there, and she gave it to you bold, brash, and fresh right then and there. So anyway, Jen Psaki, I noticed something that she shares with Biden. The P in her last name, because her last name is spelled Psaki, right? So the P in her last name is silent. Well, the P in the word president for Biden is also silent, ladies and gentlemen, because he is resident Biden. He is not President Biden. Remember, Trump was elected by the people and resident Biden was selected by the swamp. So they do share that in common. The P is silent. That's a good joke for you. Make sure you spread that to your family and friends and to your liberal colleagues that you have at work. The P is silent. That's something that they both share in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about my state of New Hampshire real quick. Dominion caught again. Dominion caught again. And see, I don't have to worry about Dominion suing me, okay, like Mike Lindell and OAN and Fox News, because what are you going to get from me? You can't get blood from a rock. So I'm going to talk about Dominion constantly, even if I was on the social level or the financial level as any of those other companies. I would still tell you about how fraudulent and how much the Dominion voting systems cheat and steal and lie and destroy your election integrity in your state. My state of New Hampshire, looks like we have Rachel, who's also from New Hampshire. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you letting me know that. When I run for Congress, you can vote for me. So the state of New Hampshire, Dominion caught again. This time, in my state of New Hampshire, a recent hand count in Rockingham, New Hampshire, District 7, New Hampshire House race in Windham, New Hampshire, found that the Dominion-owned voting machines shorted every Republican there by roughly 300 votes. Now, that's not a lot of votes because those are small areas. This is a small state, and those are very small areas. But there was 4 Republicans there who got shorted by 300 votes. That represents 6% of the vote, ladies and gentlemen. 6%. So if Dominion is stealing 6% of the vote here, what do you think 6% of the vote looks like in Detroit, Michigan? What do you think 6% of the vote looks like in Maricopa County, Arizona? What do you think 6% of the vote looks like in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia? What do you think 6% of the vote looks like in where else? In Georgia, in Atlanta. You know what I mean? 6% is massive, ladies and gentlemen. So we had 6% of the vote in New Hampshire that was basically switched and stolen from Republicans because of the Dominion-owned machines. All right. Now here's something else in the state. In New Hampshire, Dominion-owned machines are used in 85% of the towns in my small state. 85%. Now here's something even worse, and you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm getting involved in this one. I'm going to be working with the New Hampshire Republican Party, and we're going to be holding some of these people accountable because the New Hampshire Attorney General, Ann Edwards, who's about as worthless, well, I won't even go there. We'll just say she's about as worthless as Resident Biden, okay? She's a Republican, but she's a rhino, ladies and gentlemen, much like I'm finding out that Governor Sununu is too, in a lot of ways, okay? But Ann Edwards, Attorney General here in New Hampshire, a Republican, has zero plans to investigate the voter fraud. A hand count proved that the Dominion machines stole 6% of the votes only from Republicans. It proved it. And the Attorney General here needs to resign, needs to leave her job and step down, because when you have hand-counted ballots that prove that the Dominion machines stole a percentage of votes from one party only, and you have zero plans to investigate the voter fraud, then you, my dear, are not doing your job. You are fired. That's what needs to happen right now. Governor Sununu, you need to step in. You need to step in right now. Now I can actually contact Governor Sununu, and I'm going to be doing that. And I'm going to be working with the Sullivan County GOP and even the state GOP if I have to. If I have to get a hold of the highest ranking GOP members here in New Hampshire, I will definitely do that. You guys know Al Baldessaro, right? Big Trump supporter who really helped Trump with the veterans in his first administration. Al Baldessaro, he's a friend of mine, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this, and I'm going to figure out a way to hold Ann Edwards accountable for not doing her job, and I will do it live with everybody watching in front of everybody in this audience, so that everybody can see how much of a swamp donkey these people is, how deep the swamp is. The swamp is so deep down in the southern states that it's all the way up to Canada. And even further than that. That's how deep the swamp is, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to put a stop to this. This is sickening. And Ann Edwards, you need to resign and leave now. Right now. Because we have proof. And we're not going to be like these other states, I can tell you that. Or at least I'm not going to just let it go. I'm going to make a big, huge stink about that. And like I said, I'll do it live. I'm not one of these people that are just going to go, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I won't do that. Oh, I won't do. No. Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. You're not going to cheat, lie, and steal in my state as a Republican and get away with it, knowing that your fellow Republicans were the ones that were screwed over and lost 6% of the vote. You need to go. So I'm gonna keep you up to date on where we are with that as the days go on. But just know that I'm on top of it. All right. Hopefully you can hear this, but I want to read to you, and I even saved the videos in each case so that you can see 5 separate times, ladies and gentlemen, that Joe Biden openly on camera urged violence against his political opponents. All right? And hopefully you'll be able to hear this. I got the volume all the way up on it. And it's the first one is when Joe Biden was referring to, in 2018, Biden fantasized about hurting North Dakota Republican Senator Kevin Cramer, who was then challenging a Democrat incumbent. Okay? And Joe Biden was quoted on video, and I'll play the video for you as well, saying, "I'd like to give him a threshold of pain," Biden said. Quote, "I'm serious. I'm really serious." Let's see if we can hear this.
That they have to, they're engaging in hysteria. They don't have a very high threshold of pain. I'd like to give him a high threshold of pain. I mean, these people break their necks. No, I'm serious. I'm really serious.
So I'd like to give him a really high threshold of pain. I'm serious. I'm really serious. The second time that Resident Biden said something about causing violence to somebody, Biden was made the same remark at a campaign event for the state's Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp. Looks like a Nazi name to me. Heitkamp, Third Reich, right? Encouraging the president of a trade union attendance to show a threshold of pain. He basically said the same thing. Let's see if we can get that up for you.
This I love. And by the way, I told you, I come from an agricultural state. I don't know how you can possibly get elected in an agricultural state with the things he's saying. But we're now in the 20th week of zero soybean orders to the Pacific and Northwest China. And your guys calls farmers' concerns hysteria. It says they don't have a very high threshold for pain. When I get that president of the trade unions up here, he'll show them a threshold of pain.
You can't really understand him because, he's corn pop and he's got issues and he can't speak very well, fumbling and bumbling, coloring outside the lines. I get it. It's very hard to hear. But yeah, I'm letting you know that the audio and the video do exist. They do exist of him talking about giving people a high threshold of pain. Hold on, we have more. Do you remember when he in the fall, when he went to the Detroit factory and he got in front of that Detroit factory's worker's face, and it was about the Second Amendment. It was about taking your assault rifles. Remember that? And he said, "I don't work for you, and you're full of SH." You know what I'm saying? Remember that? He was so Biden told the Detroit factory worker, "You're full of SH, you get it," and then challenged him to go outside and fight him. Remember that? And that was just to a regular old factory worker who didn't even realize what was happening that day. And all of a sudden, Biden shows up and he says, you said you were going to take the Second Amendment rights. You were going to take assault rifles. And you said it with Beto O'Rourke. Beta male O'Rourke. I forgot all about that guy. Beta male. Beta male O'Rourke. And he called Biden out on that. And Biden said the same thing. He said basically the same thing. Come outside and we'll go outside and we'll fight it out. And I don't work for you, he said. And he stuck his disgusting old finger in that guy's face. Remember that? Anyway, then in the fall of 2016, Biden said he wanted to take Trump out behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. Remember that? He also doubled down and said it again in 2018, reiterating his 2016 remarks, and when he was given a speech, and he said, I'd like to take him outside behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. So there's 5 instances right there that Resident Biden, that Corn Pop himself, was going to unleash the hairy legs and turn an national under pressure and cause violence to people. Remember that? Come on, man. Somebody said. But the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, what is he going to? Did you see him try to run up the stairs to the Air Force One the other day? Did you see him? He couldn't even run up the stairs. He slipped and fell. Now I get it. He's an older guy. We all trip and fall all the time. But I mean, the guy can't speak. He can't talk. He can't formulate a sentence. He has no idea what he's signing. He can't color inside the lines. He's got crazy stories about cockroaches and kids sitting on his lap. How in the heck is he ever going to beat the hell out of somebody behind a gym? Donald Trump towers over this guy. In a real, he goes, I wish we were back in high school. If we were back in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. You were back in high school, Donald Trump would thrash you. He would thrash you. And then he would give you a wedgie to boot. So what are you talking about? All talk, no action. But either way, you want to talk about Trump inciting violence. Well, this guy talks about hurting people physically by himself, even though he can't. That's how bad he is. All right. Moving on. Democrats. Let's talk about Democrats for a minute. Oh, man, do we have to? Jeremy, do we have to talk about Democrats for a minute? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Because Democrats raised and spent $3.2 billion, with a B, ladies and gentlemen, $3.2 billion in the 2020 election. That is 4 times more than President Donald Trump spent. But that's the Democrat MO, right? Raise money that doesn't belong to you, get money that doesn't belong to you, spend money that doesn't belong to you, and spend it at a high rate because you don't care because it doesn't belong to you. Where President Trump was a lot more conservative. He always wanted to come in under budget and ahead of schedule, right? They spent $3.2 billion that they raked in, a lot of it from BLM, by the way, because when you donated to BLM, it actually was facilitated by Act Blue. And if you've donated it to BLM and it went through Act Blue, it was then diverted to other accounts that went to Democratic candidates. That's proven. I showed that to you last year. $3.2 billion, that was 4 times more than President Trump, and they still had to cheat. They still had to cheat. Now, do you know why government agencies, if they were private businesses, would be bankrupt in literally one day? One day they'd be bankrupt because they have no idea how to run a business. They have no idea because they don't care about conservatism. They don't care about being financially sound. They don't care about being fiscally conservative. All they care about is spending your money and spending more of it. They have no idea how to run businesses. They have no idea how the economy works. And that's why under them, life always sucks. Plain and simple. I hate to be so straight and forward, but under Democratic rule, life always sucks, period. Because everybody goes broke. Everybody loses their 401ks. Everybody has their businesses destroyed. They are selfish swamp donkey creatures. And they need to go back to school and learn how to balance a checkbook. $3.2 billion? 4 times more than the president, and you still had to cheat? Get out of here, man. Come on, man. Actually, I do want to say something before I move on. Somebody did email me, and I did read it. I think maybe it was email or telegram, but somebody did reach out to me and said, can you please do me a favor? And I said, what's that? Somebody said, hee-haw, hee-haw. Somebody said, when you call them swamp donkeys or you make fun of the Democrats, will you do one thing? Will you follow that up with, can you please pray for them? So I will try to do that because that is the right thing to do. When I say the word swamp donkeys, when I'm referring to Democrats or rhinos, I will try to remember to ask to please pray for these people because in the end, ladies and gentlemen, you are right. They are children of God as well, whether they are found or whether they're still lost. Hopefully, there's still hope. Somebody said, do Bernie Sanders again. Should I do the rest of the show in Bernie Sanders' voice? I should do a video where I literally do Bernie Sanders, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden and have a three-way conversation and do the whole show like that. That would be funny. That would be hilarious. So anyway, talking about more losers, let's talk about Twitter. Twitter has now put a account restriction on Project Veritas. And the reason why they put an account restriction on Project Veritas was because Project Veritas exposed the vice president of Facebook and ran up on him at his own residence and asked him, what did you mean by freezing content that may be harmful or that may be a bully statement? Because that's what the VP of Facebook got caught. Basically, a leaked video, a leaked conference call, I guess, talking about how Facebook has algorithms that will freeze, basically make it so that nobody sees the content, whether it's in messages, comments, or posts that maybe not deemed to have been, but maybe harmful. To whom? See, that's the thing about these big tech companies, man. They feel that they are God. They feel that they are the creator of the universe and that they can tell you what to say, when to say it, because they think that maybe the algorithm maybe caught something that maybe was harmful. So Project Veritas, in Project Veritas fashion, and James O'Keefe leading that charge, they called him out on it. And you know what? Project Veritas might be the only real investigative journalists that are still out there. They may be the only ones. It seems like all the news stations, ABC, CBC, CBS, MSDNC, CNN, Fox News, it seems like they've all forgotten how to do investigative journalism. All they do is do basically what I do, and they collect the news, they bring it all together, and they have an opinion about it. But remember when the news actually did investigative journalism? And that's what they don't like. Just the News does that too. Yeah, exactly. But that's what they don't like. They don't like investigative journalism. So Twitter has banned and will put account restrictions, we'll say, on Project Veritas again. So Project Veritas comes out, puts out a video, and exposes what they did to them. And sooner or later, Project Veritas will be wiped out from Facebook and Twitter altogether. So I suggest, if they don't have one, that they get a Telegram or or put their videos on Rumble or wherever, because it's just a matter of time. Because the truth, you guys remember when there was no such thing as fact checkers? Remember that? When did fact checkers start coming around? They started coming around when President Trump was running for president. Remember that? There was a little bit of censorship before that, but there was no third-party fact checkers. Where did these fact checkers come from? Why did they get hired to do this? Okay, because it wasn't to do what they say it was, and that's to get rid of lies. Because they only came about when the truth started getting out. Once the truth started getting out, that is when the fact checkers came around. That is when they started getting hired to get rid of the truth, because they did not want it being spread so quickly. Because the truth, ladies and gentlemen, like I've been saying, is like a beach ball that you're trying to hold underwater. You cannot keep it down. The truth will always come out, no matter who it is, whether it's me, whether it's James O'Keefe, whether it's Sean Hannity, whether it's Dan Bongino, whether it's David Harris Jr., it doesn't matter. The truth will always come out. And that is why they put out the fact checkers, because they did not want the truth to spread. That's why. And it's just real funny that they started happening right when Donald Trump was running for president, and he was calling them all out, and they didn't know what to do with it. The word racist didn't work anymore. It didn't shut him up anymore. Truth will always come out. You know what I mean? Speaking of people being censored, Gina Carano. Now, Gina Carano, I don't know if you guys watched Gina Carano back when she was an MMA superstar, but I did. I've been into MMA since before Dana White and the Fertitta brothers bought the UFC. Back when there were no rules and all that. That's how long I've been watching the UFC, and now the MMA community is huge. Well, Gina Carano was the first female superstar in MMA. And then, of course, she left MMA and she started becoming an actor, and she was doing Hollywood movies left and right. Now she's in the famous Star Wars Mandalorian show, and now she's fired, ladies and gentlemen. Disney has fired. Somebody said, "What's MMA?" MMA is mixed martial arts. So Disney has now fired Gina Carano from the Mandalorian show, and she was a huge part of the show. She's got a massive fan base. Why did she get fired? Because she put out, number one, she's a conservative, okay? She's a big-time conservative. Number two, she had a Parler account. So there was a huge social media campaign back when people found out that she was on Parler to get her fired from the Mandalorian show, which she's got a great, huge part on that show, okay? So there was a huge campaign to get her fired back then. However, other Hollywood stars came to her benefit. They came to her to the fight with her, and even liberals like Robert Downey Jr. and the cast of Marvel, even they came to her aid and said, you should not be firing her just because of her political views. I actually thought that was very big of these liberal superstars, these Hollywood movie stars, to come to her aid when that was going on. Well, she put out a post not too long ago comparing censorship and oppression these days by big tech companies and by media companies, and silencing people and suspending them, and the cancel culture. She was big on the cancel culture. She put out a post talking about that and comparing it to the Third Reich, comparing it to what Nazi Germany did. Well, boom, right away, ladies and gentlemen, a big, huge campaign came out to fire her again. This time, Disney fired her. And they fired her for literally comparing cancel culture and this silencing and this censorship to what Nazi Germany did, only proving her point when they fired her about cancel culture. They proved her point by firing her. That's exactly what Nazi Germany did to shut people up. They shut up the news. They shut up the freedom of speech. They shut down everything so that the truth could not get out and that only propaganda could be put out. It's exactly what Twitter does. It's exactly what YouTube does. It's exactly what Google does. It's exactly what Facebook does. It's exactly what Disney does. And these people just proved her point by firing her. When are these companies going to learn that the more they silence and the more they censor you, the bigger it makes you? It makes you a martyr, and people follow you. That is why the newsletter on JeremyHerrell.com is so big. That is why Don Jr. and his newsletter is so big, and he wants you to go sign up for it, because it's the only way to stay in constant communication these days. And again, I've told you, I just called out Google and YouTube on their own platform. I'll probably get deplatformed, but I'm never going to stop doing that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now they're calling us reality denialist terrorists because we're denying their reality. But I hate to break it to you, your reality is not the real reality. You need Jesus. You need Jesus badly. All of you do. Not you watching. I'm talking about these cancel culture people. Okay, moving on. Bill de Blasio of New York, mayor of New York City, had some harsh words for Brother Fredo's older brother who used to give him wedgies, Andrew Cuomo. People are starting to eat their own, ladies and gentlemen. The Democrats don't really have anybody else to fight with anymore, so they're starting to fight amongst themselves, and they're starting to eat each other. So de Blasio had hard words for Andrew Cuomo, saying that his restrictions can't keep going on anymore. It's destroying the city. Well, duh. We could have told you that a year ago, back when they told us a year ago that we were going to have 15 days to slow the spread. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of 15 days to slow the spread, ladies and gentlemen. Of course he's got harsh words. Duh. You know what I mean? And in other Andrew Cuomo news, a federal judge just shot down his final restrictions on church gatherings. Now houses of worship can gather, and they don't have to deal with Andrew Cuomo telling them that they're not allowed to do that anymore. So thank you to the federal judge who was appointed by President Trump. And thank you, Bill de Blasio, for actually having a half of a brain for a second and calling him out as well. I don't know what that was. Anyway, Nancy Pelosi, moving on, says that cops who battled the Capitol rioters are to get a congressional medal. How? How are they supposed to get a congressional medal? It doesn't make much sense. Speaking of the Capitol City riots, by the way, the Capitol building riot, I'm saying, most of that footage that you see, that you're seeing, all that was in the impeachment trial that they showed and everything, most of that footage came from video cameras from Antifa members who have already been arrested. Think about that. All that money that was spent by the Democrats to make that Hollywood video that showed all the insurrection and all the Capitol building riots, all of that video, a majority of it came from Antifa members who were posing to be Trump supporters who have been arrested for their role in the Capitol building riot. Isn't that weird? Yeah, I think that's weird. What else? They shut down Parler, right? Because they were blaming the January 6th insurrection riot on Parler. But here's some more facts for you. You ready for this? Most of that organization, most of the planning that happened way before President Trump gave his speech actually was done on Facebook, in Facebook groups. Facebook is actually to be blamed 10 times more than Parler is ever to be blamed for anything that was planned prior to January 6th about storming the Capitol building. Why did Parler get shut down but not Facebook? Because they shifted the blame to somebody else because they were going to kill two birds with one stone. How are they going to do that? Well, they were going to not only shift the blame from Facebook, where the blame rightfully belonged, okay, but to Parler so that they could target Trump supporters, because most of the people that went to Parler supported the president and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. You know, the founding documents that gave us the rights. I mean, well, God gave us the rights, but gave us this country that we have. So they could target them, but also get rid of competition because Parler was gaining over 10 million subscribers, or members, I should say. So they thought they'd kill two birds with one stone and do that. But, you know, we're not going to talk about that. And we're going to give those cops who opened the barricades, who actually opened the doors, and who then gave what it seemed to look like to me, Antifa members who were posing to be Trump supporters, gave them like an actual physical tour and showed them exactly where to go inside that building. You've seen the footage. I've seen the footage. Those gates were opened up by those cops. Those doors were opened up by those cops. And then they were given an exclusive tour of the Capitol building, and they were shown right where to go. But let's give them a medal. Let's give them a medal, huh? Stretch Face Armstrong, ladies and gentlemen, with her $12,000 ice cream. These people, I'm telling you, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do just what that lady said. I'm going to pray for them. And I urge you to pray for them too. Make sure you check me out on Telegram. I am live from America, all capital letters. That's my public channel there. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. Make sure you go to jeremyherrell.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Also, new Armor of God gear is up online. All you got to do is go to the store section of my jeremyherrell.com, and you can click and it'll take you to the new Armor of God gear. Go check that out. We have new items added daily for the next 2 weeks, and if you can do so, please consider becoming a one-time or a monthly donor so we can grow this network, so we can get bigger and bigger and spread the message further and further. And we need a Christian conservative voice now more than ever. I thank you guys so much. Remember, there are right ways, there are wrong ways, but there's only one Yahweh. So stand up tall, keep your shoulders back, your chest out, and your head up high, because you are a child of God, and no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. Copy the link and share it over on Facebook, share it on Telegram, share it all over the world. I love you guys. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless President Trump. God bless the good old US of A. And I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. for more Live from America with your favorite hip-hop patriot, Jeremy Herrell. Have a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy Herrell signing out. See you later.